The Knicks may have finally cracked the code against the Boston Celtics, but will it be enough come playoff time? Shaq, shut the... Hit that rock. Before we get started, make sure to hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the dark notification bell to get each and every notification for each and every video I put out there. It's your boy Gmo, Legion of Knicks. Salute.
He is going to have to play this way if the Knicks want to at least advance to the second round, but I don't think they're good enough to advance to the second round. That's just me personally.
Probably not.
So you'd have them losing to Detroit?
Yeah, oh yeah, hell yeah. Cade, hell yeah.
Ooh.
Isaiah Stewart, oh yes.
And
He is.
Okay. As you guys heard Shaq pregame, of course, he has to try to make an imprint simply with something stupid or something hating. And this time he's saying the Knicks are not going to make the second or make it to the second round, that the Pistons are going to dominate the Knicks because Isaiah Stewart, the guy that... didn't he say that Isaiah Stewart was averaging 6-7 rebounds a game? Something he wasn't even doing last time I checked. Something he wasn't even doing last time I checked, Mr. Isaiah Stewart, all because he's violent. Like, your man, look, Shaq is not the brightest of the bunch. This is a guy who's had terrible takes in the past, Mr. So-called Big Aristotle, saying things like, just to go down some of the dumb ish he said, you know, things like, oh, the other guys need to step up around Dame, when Chuck literally answered right back. They scored 73 points and a half. They're on the way to 140. Shaq said, no, they need to, those guys need to step up and make shots. 73 points and a half on your way to 140 means you're probably shooting efficiently. Or literally you're just overshooting because the other team's literally not shooting. So you're literally getting their shots and throwing up. That's Shaq for you. Lucas triple-double game 4 performance was, quote, nothing new. Shaq saying, I admire the new government in Germany and wish them well, back in 1993. Coaching doesn't matter. This is when he literally was getting toyed with, destroyed by the Pistons in 2004. Before the 1999 Western Conference Finals, Tim Duncan is soft, proceeds to get swept as Timmy averages 29, 11 on 51% shooting. I mean, look, Shaq is one of the most dominant players of all time. One of the greatest players of all time. Probably the most dominant player I've ever seen in my life. But one thing that Shaq isn't is smart or intelligent. I know he has an investment and stuff. I ain't talking about that because I'm pretty sure he has people in place to make those for him. He's not doing that. But Shaq isn't the smartest of the bunch. If you remember back in the day, Phil Jackson said the reason why I hated playing the Jazz. This is back in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. After the Jazz played the Bulls, he said, I hate playing the Jazz because they're such a smart team. They're such an intelligent team. And go back and watch those games. Again, Shaq, one of the most dominant players, was not one of the smartest. It was Kobe had to tell him, man, you need to get your ass in shape. You can't just work your way back into getting into shape. That's how Shaq approached the game. This grunt, stupid, idiotic mindset. To sit up there and just say, Isaiah Stewart, Isaiah Stewart. All because Patrick Ewing. This guy looked up to Patrick Ewing, always wanted to be him. Now he has this love affair, or not love affair, or a love affair with hating the Knicks. This guy's an absolute one of the greatest players, just intelligence-wise. Y'all guys got to start putting stuff in it. That the Knicks get to the second round, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I forgot who he was talking trash on. Then he said, oh, I was saying that to try to motivate you. Like, Shaq, no one needs motivation from you. No one. How about you worry about Dwight Howard making the Hall of Fame? How about you worry about Jokic making you to the newer generation seem irrelevant? Even though I think you're relevant. You're one of the most dominant players of all time. But you come off as a big hater. You don't come off as a fearsome Shaq. You don't come off as the athletic marvel with the Orlando Magic. You come off as a big hater. But enough on you. Look, the New York Knicks lost to the Boston Celtics in what I deem the game where the Knicks may have finally cracked the code. Inside joke for people who may have known this. But the New York Knicks may have finally cracked the code against the Boston Celtics, despite the fact they lost 119 to 117 in overtime. The Boston Celtics definitely showed their wares in a garden, but the scary thing or the great thing about this game, and this is something I talked about with the Knicks and the Celtics, the Knicks being able to respond to the Celtics three-point barrage with smart, timely execution on the other end. The Boston Celtics had 19 threes against the Knicks, 19 for 49. That may be the most this season in terms of threes against the Knicks from Boston. I got to go and check them. I'm pretty sure it's up there. And yet the Boston Celtics needed an overtime win, an overtime period to beat the Knicks. They needed poor execution down the stretch to beat the Knicks. Knicks today shot 47.5% from the field, 28.9% from three, just to show you that the Knicks were right there despite not having the best of shooting, despite not having the best performances from some of their better guys. Obviously, Cat versus Celtics killed. We're going to talk about Cat. 34 points, 14 for 21 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, 14 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. And obviously, Jalen Brunson having a strong game. Welcome back. Mr. Brunson, 27 points up for 10 for 21 shooting, 5 for 12 from the three-point line, 1 rebound, 10 assists for all the people that say he doesn't have the point guard chops. But here's where the issues came from, the other guys. Right? Other guys struggled today. Kyle Bridges only 14 points, not the worst of games. Shot some decent mid-range shots in that second half, but 16 for 15 overall, 2 for 6 from 3, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. OG Anunoby kind of had somewhat of a stinker today. 13 points, only 5 for 13 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3, which is killer. 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. Josh Hart, 10 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. Is typically where he operates and he missed the final 3 of the game. So, even with that said, there's so many positives to take away from this game. The Knicks are right there. Came close. But let's talk about it. Cat. This is what I mentioned last time, and I talked about this with Nick. Suit to Nick G. You don't have to answer the Celtics threes with your threes on the other end. It's like rope-a-dope. It's like staying there in the telephone booth in boxing. Yeah, you're going to take some hits, but how do you counter? And I love what the Knicks did today. Timely ball movement, moving the ball around. And then namely getting it to Cat in the post. Jayson Tatum couldn't do nothing with no damn Cat in the post. Cat is a big wing, Cat in the post, bro. Your man was killing tonight, and that's what we need. To sit up there and try to give the Celtics give them the second chance opportunities right back. And they had a bunch of second chance opportunities versus the Knicks. Had a bunch of plays off of turnovers. Right? The Knicks have to be cleaner in that regard. You can't... Look, this is a game, as the great Al Pacino said, this is a game of inches. Pause. You can't give up bad plays, second chance opportunities. 11 turnovers for the Knicks overall. Celtics versus the Knicks in terms of scoring. Scored about 22 points off of turnovers. Unacceptable. Knicks got to be a lot cleaner. Start off the game, Josh Hart, who always never realized who's behind him, gets a rebound. It doesn't realize the Celtics. We've been doing this all season. For the past 2 seasons, I would say, do that little thing where they send a defender who's acting like he's rebounding. He's not quitting. He's just going to come and try to steal the ball from behind you. Josh has to be clean. He has to be smarter on that. But it's not even that. The Knicks just down the stretch. In this game, just have to be smart. But Cat attacking the basket, being an absolute beast of a century in the post. I mean, what you saw today, man, was going back to old school basketball. Getting into the post, making it physical, slowing them down, getting to the foul line, throwing them off the rhythm. This is what Tom Thibodeau talked about with Brunson. Hey, we love Brunson because he can control the rhythm of the game, blah, blah, blah. And now you have Cat who's doing it. This is probably Cat's best game to me versus an elite team this season, where there was rhyme and reason, to every move he did tonight for the most part. For every move he did tonight offensively for the most part. You felt it. You felt like, okay, he's finally putting together. And the Celtics really had no answer. Again, keep this in mind. 19 threes against the Knicks. And it was this close. 19 threes. Knicks never panicked, which I loved. You find very few panic plays versus the Celtics that the Knicks did. Knicks trusted the Knicks and Tibbs. They trusted the ball movement late in the game. Trusted the ball movement, trusted the system. Cat was a part of that. Now, I love what I saw, especially when he abused Tatum in the post. That was glorious. And the sad thing, too, man, Cat was right there. Cat could have had some great plays to close out the game on the defensive end as well, too. That three-point shot by Tatum. Look, Tatum is Tatum. He hit 2 freaking one-footed shots off balance in the mid-range. If it's his game, it's his game. But don't give him the cheap points. When he had that foul, I could feel that foul coming because Tatum was goading him all day or all night on that freaking possession. He's either going to shoot or he's going to drive to. Let him shoot the shot. No need to try even block. Bro, let him shoot the shot. It's fine. It's killer. But it's like Cat is right there in terms of getting it. So I don't even want to overpick him. What I love too, man, Mitchell Robinson on Tatum. Left on an island. Now, again, Cat against KP. We're going to get to that too. Garbage on the pick and pop by KP. But on Tatum, he got that block. And we got the points in the end. This team today played with a fire under them. I love what I saw late in that game, despite some of the struggles from certain players. Another thing too, man, like I mentioned, can we solve the KP pick and pop? They ran that. Go back to the first game last season. KP and Tatum ran a pick and pop and abused Mitchell Robinson. Now, for the most part, granted, the Celtics hit 19 threes. But I thought, especially late, the Knicks had some solid rotations on defense. They were locked in. This was something that you have not seen in years prior or in games prior. That we saw in years prior, but not enough consistently this season. A lot of times the Celtics picked up the ball, had to move the ball around because the Knicks made the proper closeout, so closeouts quick enough. There's nothing you could do about freaking Derek White shooting the ridiculous threes that he did contested. There's not much you could do about that. But you got to make them work for each shot. They're going to miss. There's no team that's going to shoot 80% on contested three-point shots. It's impossible. So I like what I saw, but can the Knicks solve the KP pick and pop game versus the New York Knicks? KP had his way from the outside. KP 8 for 13 from 3. Killer. 8 for 19 from the field. 4 rebounds, 3 assists. If the Knicks have any chance to beat the Celtics or even make it a series in the second round and get in there, they're gonna have to solve the KP issue. Now the Celtics, I don't know what they did. They didn't put they put KP as more of a help defender in the paint late in the game versus Cat. Versus 1-on-1 versus Cat, which I thought was Maybe they don't want to get him injured. But KP tonight, I don't even know if he's a difference maker. But the Knicks have to try to find a way. And I don't know if it's having a small defender, because KP was shooting some shots from freaking Saudi Arabia, bro. There's not much you could do about that unless you try to make him pick up his dribble or disallow him from loading up the shot. So maybe when they get those screens on a pick and pop, have the smaller guy run out on KP, disrupt him, not allow him to really put the ball on the ground, and stop him from shooting that shots, because it didn't really matter if you got the big to switch on him. He was still shooting those shots over Mitch. There's not much that Mitch can do. And it wasn't the worst of closeouts, but there's not much you could do in that situation. Not much you could do, man. The Celtics tonight, man, shot 46% from the field, 38.8% from 3. 38 rebounds to the Knicks, 52 rebounds. How do you lose the rebounding battle? You lose a game when you win the rebounding battle by almost 20 rebounds. And then 28 assists to their 26 assists. Tough, man. This was, look, this game, this stuff. Derek White is officially a Knick killer. Got to call it out. That's another thing. This guy does not miss against the Knicks. 5 for 14 from the field overall, 4 for 12 from 3, which is not great, but he hit some clutch threes against the Knicks, some heartbreaking threes. He did that in the last game as well, too. And at this point, he's just becoming a Knick killer. Like, there's just some tough, annoying shots. When he reset it and was just dribbling like he was going nowhere and just chucked the shot, I'm like, come on, dogs. Like, how? He's more like, I'll put him on a scale. He's not Chipper Jones, like how Chipper Jones was a Mets killer. I would say he's like Pat. I'll say he's a mix between, like, say, Pat Burrow. I say, like, Pat Burrow. That's tough. I say, like, between, like Juan Pierre and Pat Burrow is where Mr. Derek White comes out, Knick killer. But this is just, man, that Derek White has to be one of the most annoying stories in all the NBA. Man did not look anything like this coming out of San Antonio. Looked timid, to really shoot the shot. These guys put the battery in his back. Man looked like he's taking on some roids. I'm joking. But this is ridiculous, man. But it's some of the shots he hit. It's like, what do you do against that? What do you do against that? The Knicks played it right and still almost won this game. I mean, just lost this game. Let me put it like that. Like I said, every possession counts. Look, in this game, the third quarter, the only quarter in regulation where they outscored the Knicks, the Celtics, that is, was in regulation. Was in third quarter. This in regulation, obviously, they scored 12 points out of 10 in the overtime. But to get to that late game execution, man, fourth quarter, man, Knicks were so close. Knicks were so close. But some things you got to talk about. Brunson shooting that three near the end of the regulation, only down by 1. I know Brunson loves that 3-point shot, so maybe you give it to him, but he was draped defensively. I thought they could have gotten a better shot, maybe try to get to the line, force the issue, 1-point game. And again, Brunson's hit those threes before, so you live and die with it, right? You trust your general. I'm just saying, maybe it's too much hindsight that's better in my thinking, but I just thought that it felt obvious he was going to shoot the three. When literally in the game, in that same fourth quarter, they doubled Brunson, he passed to McCall to hit that little mid-range shot. Trust your teammates, but again, this is a guy in Brunson who's hit those threes before. It's just, I would like to continue kind of goading the defense in on those plays and fool them and catch him with a surprise play from, in a fourth quarter where, McCall started to hit those little mid-range shots. Then you get to the Josh Hart getting the ball in regulation. But even before that, last second shot by Tatum. Gotta foul Tibbs. Tibbs was doing so many things right tonight. Getting these guys to play the closeout defense, rotational defense that you want, even though the Celtics still hit 19 threes. At least doing it late by Tibbs. Continue to move the ball around, never panicking. Once the Celtics made it 3, not trying to go 3 for 3, controlling the game, controlling the tempo, and letting the storm kind of pass by. But you gotta foul Tatum in that situation, man. I understand we fouled KP a few years ago. He missed a free throw, got the rebound back, got the game tired. They got into overtime, beat us. But you gotta foul Tatum in that situation. Tatum is a white hot scorer. He's a Kobeite. Rest in peace, Kobe. Learned under Kobe, trained under Kobe for a summer. I don't know if he's his prodigy, but definitely learned under his tutelage. Was under his tutelage. He's gonna shoot the shot. When he's hot, he's gunning. When he's hot, he's gunning. Even when he's hot, he's gunning. Tatum is a guy who's gonna shoot through and through. So put him at the foul line. Let them foul you. Let them slow the game down. You go to the line, you make your free throws. Now they gotta bring the ball back up. Or I'm not sure if they had another timeout at that time before Tatum hit the 3. Let me just see. Yeah, they had 2 timeouts actually. So let them call a timeout. Put the pressure on them. Put the pressure on them. Put the pressure on them. F this team. The Knicks were right there against the Boston freaking Celtics. They were right there. Make them get to the foul line. So that's on Tibbs. He has to trust the process. Yes, it's failed once before from about a few years ago. You got to trust the process. Better execution down the stretch. End game situation. Your man Josh Hart. Now, they had that one play where Josh Hart got the 3. But look at what they're trying to run. Some kind of run play between Cat and Brunson. Neither of those two nincompoops get free enough from each other to really get the ball. Cat dives to the basket, but then he has KP on him, who has excellent length in the arms to block, deflect that pass. So that was a moot point. And then Brunson doesn't shake off. Where's the screen to get OG? Like, this is such poor execution. Tom Thibodeau with Mike Malone, Queens native, former Knicks assistant, coming free. Maybe you might need some Mike Malone, assistant coach. You know what I'm saying, man? I know Tibbs ain't gonna do it, but you gotta have better execution down the stretch. Late in this game, you gotta get it to your best player or your second best player. 2.9 seconds left. That's plenty of time. That's plenty of time. Yes, you got Derek White, but it's not easy, but it's a play you could run. You could have it where a guy like OG, you got Sam Hauser on him, is running a screenplay for Brunson. Brunson can now get the ball at the wing. He gets the ball at the wing. Sam Hauser got to step up. Brunson can shoot that three. It's not the easiest, but you rather have a Sam Hauser on you versus Derek White. Or in this instance, whatever they were trying to do, get it to Cat underneath. What type of, yo, come on, Tibbs. You've been in the league for how long? You talk about understanding numbers on spots, on the floor, and where this guy shoots percentage, blah, blah, blah. How don't you understand end game plays? Even Doc Rivers, people say one of the most overrated coaches of all time, one of the worst so-called successful coaches of all time. He had some of the best out-of-bounds plays with the Celtics, of all teams. Why aren't you picking that part of the book? Why aren't you reading that part of the book? How to defeat the White Walkers. Valerian Steele. When are you going to get to the Valerian Steele chapter of the book, Tibbs? I know that was mad corny and nerdy. I apologize, but it seemed so well. It seemed to fit. Obviously, Josh missed the shot. And in overtime, Knicks are going back and forth. Great perseverance, great execution on a really good execution until the Mikal Bridges turnover. And even defensively, out of bounds, 338. The Knicks lost in space. They inbound a pass, and freaking Sam Hauser gets an easy bucket underneath. That's 2 points right there. That's part of the game right there. That's literally part of the game right there. Knicks have, man, these guys, I'm telling you, better focus from everybody. I want to see Cat in a huddle, controlling the huddle. I want to see these guys I want to see that leadership on the floor, not just, okay, we had good games. You got a good game, Brunson. You got a good game, Cat, which is actually great to see the two best players having a game like this. But it's other guys everybody, a concerted effort to talk. That can't happen with Sam Hauser in overtime. And the same KP pick and pop overtime. Knicks, they're right there. When you got the freaking, what do they call them? Clegane? The mountain, what they had talk about in Game of Thrones? If you Marcel Tyrell, whatever that guy's name was, not Marcel Tyrell, what was Marcel, whatever his guy's name is, the one from Dorne that almost had the freaking Clegane on the ground, could have destroyed him. You gotta finish the task. And we didn't. We're right there. But that bodes well for us. A team in the Celtics who we've gotten mollywopped in so many ways. Imagine fighting the Undertaker, and he does 3 separate, different finishing moves on you, all destroying you within a span of 1 minute. This game, we actually brought it to near the end. We almost got the 1-2-3 counter versus the Celtics. But if you want to beat the elite teams, you got to be elite for that day. Simple as that. Can't let a team like the Celtics breathe. Can't make mistakes, sloppy mistakes. You can't lose focus. But you're starting to see this team almost take it to that next level. And this is right before the playoffs, which is great. This was not a lay down game. The Celtics did not rest their top players. They want to make a statement versus the Knicks. And they made a mistake by maybe showing some cracks. Against the Knicks. I think they did. I think they live and die by the 3. They live and die by Tatum's superstar, or not superstar, but star power, his star power shooting, which many teams you rely on your star player to do that, to execute. But they showed cracks today, and they showed that the 3-point shooting, you can defeat it. Guys, remember, 19 threes. 19 threes shot versus the Knicks, and they had to get to overtime. It speaks volumes. Also speaks volumes to see guys like Mikal Bridges after that turnover. End of game, guys dapping him up. You need that because he needs his confidence. Let's be honest. He needs his confidence. But the Knicks, they showed something tonight. They might be close. They might be right there. So, Shaq, if we beat the Pistons, if we beat the Celtics, what are you going to say then? You going to do one of those insurance car commercials with the terrible graphics? I'm only talking trash. She's actually making a lot of money from that. I probably would love that check. But, look, man, no one believes in the Knicks. They have never believed in the Knicks. They've always shot down the Knicks. Until the Knicks win, and now everybody's a Knicks fan. We get it. I'll see you guys on the end of the bandwagon. We see where you guys will stand if the Knicks beat the Celtics. And I'm looking for you, Shaq, when the Knicks beat the Pistons. But guys, let me know your thoughts, comments. How do you guys feel about what we did against the Celtics? Do you think that the Knicks are right there, showing some cracks? Do you want to pick up Mike Malone as an assistant coach? I don't know if you could pick him up as a coach. Now, I don't know how it works for coaches and free agency or how that works if you got to hire a coach before, blah, blah. I think you just hire them. But would you love Mike Malone to end the bench? What do you think Mike Malone could actually bring to this Knicks team as they go through the playoff starting against the 6th seed Pistons? Let me know your thoughts. It's your boy G-Mo Leisure Knicks. I appreciate you guys. Peace, Lou. God bless. I'll catch you guys on the next one.